iSimply Connect is it's an online, on-demand, transactional means by which we call them makers, but it's really people doing prototypes. It's largely about digitizing businesses. And one of the big challenges they have is, how do I actually start? If I have 20,000 devices and I go to an opco or whoever, they'll answer my question. But I'm not a big business. I'm actually trying to figure out actually maybe what a new business for me is, or within my existing business, how am I actually going to digitally transform it? And I've got to try and do a prototype. I've got to try and make it work so that I can build a business case, because my business case doesn't work until I actually can prove that it works. So iSimply Connect was an answer to that, because we see it an awful lot of the time where you've got 1, 2, 3 SIMs to do a prototype is the biggest barrier to actually trying to figure out how it works. Because the alternative is that somebody does it in a lab, and then it definitely won't work when it goes out in the real world. So getting a SIM, which a lot of them probably actually go to, I don't know, Talk or somewhere like that, and they'll get a SIM and they'll put it in. They'll realise that they can't use that for their IoT. So for us, it's really about making it transactional and making it easy to get a SIM, to use it as much as you want, and then if the prototype doesn't work, then that's fine. If it does work, then scale it out. And the important thing that we provide is that ability to take that 1, 2, 3 SIMs to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of SIMs if it's successful. Our background is security. So all of the guys myself, my co-founder, and a lot of the people we took on, we're all security professionals. We have a very, very strong belief that unless you are a security professional, you don't need to know about the security. So everything we build is secure, but it's the same way when you buy a car. You expect the brakes to work. Safety is hugely important in a car. But when you buy your car, you trust it's safe. And we take the same view in ours. We try and simplify it out, but the security and that trust that the system is secure is kind of a given. It has to be secure, otherwise there's no point doing it. It's an ecosystem play, IoT. So IoT is necessarily end-to-end. And therefore there's multiple platforms. Some of those platforms are doing specific things that they don't need to interplay with the other platforms. If you've got a platform, earlier on in the conference today, ARM announced a platform for how the devices operate. Now, if I've got a platform that's doing analytics, there's a very small point where those platforms join. And then there's big gaps between them. Interestingly, one of the things we try and do is join that gap so that we can actually ensure that the platform over here and the platform over here can talk to each other securely. So there will be joins between the platforms, and there need to be overlaps in actual fact between the platforms. But then there's a lot of competition between the platforms, because you've got to choose which platform you're going to do, and there's a different mix between the different platforms. So there's certainly a case that some of these platforms will, they'll evolve, they'll die out, they'll re-merge. Some things that are, the whole idea of is it a function, is it a feature? There's some things that will become features of other platforms as it settles out. But the big platforms within this are really the utility networks and the cloud platforms. The actual, I'm talking about Amazon, that as a platform, and then whatever they put on top of those. So it's going to be interesting, I think. It's still very emergent. I suspect there's going to be a new category where the connectivity provider is necessary within the ecosystem, because you've got multiple access networks and multiple providers who are delivering individual networks, like these are the opcos, and not just the opcos but others. And you got the cloud vendors. And there is a big gap there. And there's necessarily a many-to-many. And that's naturally going to lead to providers like Asavie, who are connectivity providers, whose job it is to connect the any-to-any and make all that complexity just go away. And as we move forward the next 5 years, we see our end-to-end really expanding. So we'll end-to-end in terms of out towards the device and in towards the cloud, but also end-to-end in terms of life cycle. So, from when the device is manufactured to when it's actually decommissioned.
Enjoyed this video? Click here to get the latest news on siliconrepublic.com and follow us on social media.